Hi, I'm Andreia Wright, and I'll be talking to you about the topic of employee handbooks for CUL 233, Food Service Management. I hope you will learn about the importance of this valuable tool. This is the story of identical twins Heather and Amber Langley, also known as the Porcelain Twins, who were constructively discharged from their place of employment. The article, "Imperiled, the Box Defends Itself" by Alan Salkin, may be found at the following site, New York Times, September 28, 2009. The twins used to work at the Box, a risque and controversial upscale restaurant and fetish burlesque theater in New York City. They claimed that they were being coerced into performing lewd and degrading sexual acts both on stage and off stage with their manager, and said that they feared that they would lose their jobs if they didn't. The owners were letting the onstage activities carry into reality, acting as though anything goes, both on stage and in real life. One of the owners, Simon Hammerstein, said, "I'm a director. I edited their show. Whether I change the tone or color of something, I've never gotten anyone to do anything they don't want to." He told the New York Times that there was an employee handbook in the office outlining the procedures the twins could have taken regarding sexual harassment claims. Nobody gave the twins a copy of the employee handbook, and they didn't know about it, and they were not asked to sign it. This situation can be applied to future business practices by having an employee handbook and reviewing it with all employees. They should sign that they received it. In the example above, the twins would have had a way out if they had read the employee handbook, which outlines sexual harassment policies and the steps that need to be taken. Since the employee handbook was not handed to them, they should have asked for a copy. I have learned from this article to always request a copy of the employee handbook for myself and to provide a copy to my employees. A takeaway from this article is that workers and employers must protect themselves by knowing what their rights are through an employee handbook. An employee handbook will let employees know about sexual harassment policies. Employees can know what to expect from a company based on their employee handbook. They can decide if they are a good fit with the company's culture instead of enduring hardship and going through the effort and risk of a lawsuit later. These practices protect the workers from not entering into an environment that they did not know about. It also protects employers from lawsuits by disclosing what is permissible or not. A suggestion to help employers to do their job better is to have an employee handbook. An employee handbook can be used to protect both employees and employers. Don't offer things that will not be delivered. Let employees know into what kind of environment they will be entering. In the article at Flagging Tribune, Tales of a Bankrupt Culture by David Carr, found in the New York Times, October 6, 2010, the Chicago Tribune has prevented lawsuits by rewriting their employee handbook and stating that employees have to deal with offensive behaviors and attitudes. They were covering their bases, using a new employee handbook to suit their raunchy office behavior. Randy Michaels, a top executive, wrote this in the new employee handbook. Working at Tribune means accepting that you might hear a word that you personally may not use. You might hear a joke that you don't consider funny. This should be understood, should not be a surprise, and not considered harassment. Employers can make off-color, racist, or sexist remark without the fear of being sued because of what was written in their new employee handbook. Some ways in which employees can protect themselves based on these articles is to read the employee handbook before joining the company. Ask yourself if you agree with their practices. Is there anything that protects your rights? If so, how much protection does it offer? How does the employee handbook reflect the work atmosphere? Will I be able to say, This was not included in my job description or the employee handbook. The twins could have made a complaint based on the steps outlined in the employee handbook. Instead, they didn't know that filing a sexual harassment claim was allowed and didn't have to fear losing their jobs. To my knowledge, the situation was not resolved. The case went to court according to the article Porcelain Twins versus the Box, the full lawsuit by Chris Money in Black Book magazine. This case was probably dismissed or settled out of court, since there is not an outcome for the trial and the box is still in business. The twins are still in the sex industry, are self-employed, touring, writing books, and making movies. This scenario had an impact beyond the immediate players because the twins have increased the awareness of the employee handbook for others. Other employees were also unaware of the employee handbook, and now they know one exists. One anonymous employee said, "That's something that just started that was never passed out for long-term employees." People who are currently employed should be given a copy of if the company does come out with a new handbook. People can refer to it in cases of sexual harassment in the future. They have shown to future employees what to expect, since nobody knows into what kind of questionable work situation they are entering. In closing, employee handbooks can protect the employee and protect the employers. Employees can know what kind of atmosphere to expect and any procedures that can be taken to protect themselves. Employers can protect themselves with an employee handbook outlining the expectations they have for their employees and the work environment.